If someone introduces themselves as Robert, don't immediately start calling them Rob. Stick to the name that you have until they tell you otherwise. Hello, I'm Joanna Slater and it's great to have you here again. Today, I'm going to share 5 simple tips that I use every single day to build rapport quickly and naturally over the phone, making sales calls feel like real conversations. I remember one of my first calls, I was so focused on what I was going to say that I just launched straight into my pitch. And yes, you guessed it, the person on the other end barely listened. Why? Because I hadn't taken time to make them feel comfortable with me. That's when it really hit me. Building rapport isn't optional, it's essential. And the good news is rapport isn't luck, it's a skill that you can create deliberately with the right techniques. So let's jump right in. Say their name early and correctly. One of the easiest ways to make someone feel valued is by saying their name. People love hearing their own name. It creates an instant connection. Now, as you know, my name is Joanna, and I really don't like it when people shorten it to Joanne. It feels like they haven't listened or don't respect my preference. So your prospects often feel the same. So if someone introduces themselves as Robert, don't immediately start calling them Rob. Stick to the name that you have until they tell you otherwise. Always pronounce their name correctly. And here's an extra tip. If you come across a name that you're not sure how to pronounce, just Google it. There are videos that will show you how to pronounce the name correctly. I use it all the time. Find small common ground. By simply creating a moment of familiarity, your call feels more human, especially when you have had an initial conversation. Now, when I say find common ground, I don't mean forcing awkward small talk. It's simply noticing small moments that make the conversation feel natural instead of scripted. So here's an example of an opening breaker I had recently with a follow-up call. Good morning, Sarah. It's Joanna calling from ABC Organics. How are you? I don't know what the weather's like where you are, but here it's absolutely pouring down. If they talk about challenges, I'd say I've actually spoken to quite a few businesses in your industry recently, and a lot of them are saying the same thing. But please remember, avoid fake compliments, over personal questions, forced humour, and pretending you have things in common when you don't. Match their tone and energy. One thing I learnt really quickly in telephone sales is every prospect communicates differently. You know, some people are upbeat, chatty, and full of energy. Others are calmer, quieter, and straight to the point. Early on, I made the mistake of speaking the same way to everyone, and that sometimes makes the conversation feel quite overwhelming because my energy didn't match theirs. So now, if somebody sounds relaxed and professional, I slow myself down and keep my tone calm. But if they sound more upbeat and conversational, I naturally bring a little bit more energy into the call. It's called mirroring. And when done naturally, it helps the conversation feel far more comfortable and flowing. People tend to connect more easily with people that sound similar to themselves. So make sure next time you speak to somebody, just have a little listen. How do they sound? And mirror yourself to that approach. Express curiosity. One thing that really changed my conversations over the phone was learning to become generally curious about the person I was speaking to. And I don't mean pretending to be interested just to make a sale. What I mean is actually wanting to understand. It could be what challenges they're facing, what's really frustrating them, what they're trying to improve, or even how are things currently working for them. I remember I used to focus so much on what I wanted to say, so I barely stopped to explore what the prospect actually needed. But once I started asking more curious questions, everything changed. For example, instead of jumping straight into the presentation, I might say, out of curiosity, what's been your biggest challenge with your current system? Or I'd say, how are you currently handling that at the moment? And then I listen. Because when people feel that you're genuinely interested, not just trying to sell them something, they naturally open up more. And the more comfortable they feel, the more natural and productive the conversation becomes. Curiosity creates connection far faster than any sales script ever will. Make them feel understood. One of the fastest ways to build rapport on a sales call is to make the other person feel understood. And sometimes that doesn't require a big solution or a perfect sales pitch. It's simply about acknowledging how they feel. This isn't about asking more questions. It's about responding to what they've already told you. For example, if a prospect says, "We're incredibly busy at the moment," instead of ignoring it and pushing ahead with a script, I would say, "I completely understand. It sounds like you've got a lot on at the moment." Or they might sound frustrated. So I might say, "I can understand why that would be really frustrating for you." Small responses like that make people feel heard, respected and comfortable, and they like speaking to somebody like you. I remember I used to focus so much on delivering my pitch that I forgot there was a real person on the other end of the phone. But once I started slowing down and acknowledging how people were feeling, my conversations became far more natural. My aim is hoping that the person on the other end of the phone puts the phone down thinking, now that was a really nice person to speak to. People don't always remember every word you say, but they do remember how you made them feel. So let's quickly recap on the 5 tips to build rapport fast. Say their name early and correctly. It creates instant connection. Find small common ground. Noticing those small moments make the conversation feel natural. Match their tone and energy. People connect more easily with people who sound similar to themselves. Express curiosity. Curiosity creates connection. Make them feel understood. Prospects will remember how you made them feel. Building rapport is the foundation of every successful sales call. When you connect with people, they listen. And when they listen, they buy. I'd love to know, what's your favourite way to build rapport on sales calls? Please share it in the comments below. And don't miss next week's video where I'm discussing building credibility and trust. Remember to download my free objections handling cheat sheet. It's in the descriptions below. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.